Guys, I just discovered a very simple way to combine Trendline with price action to get very high probability trade entry like this one I took earlier today. And you can use many things to indicate this kind of entry setup. This was a trade setup that I gave in the VIP, and guys, price has dropped and even surpassed the zone where we expected. So I'm going to share with you, I did not only take this trade based on Trendline, but I use other factors to combine it and make the Trendline entry very accurate, moving right up to 90 or even above 90% entry win rate. All right, so basically this is very simple, guys. Okay, traders, welcome to my channel. I am Full Kingsley. By the grace of God, I bring to you guys strategies, tutorials on the forex market, volatility indices, metals like gold, Nasdaq, VIX75, many other instruments. You want to subscribe to the channel by hitting on the subscribe button and notification bell to not miss out. There are times in the market where price create both diagonal support and horizontal support, or diagonal resistance as horizontal resistance. Let me show you guys. Now, if price is in a downtrend, maybe trending like this, and then it comes, it get rejected, it goes up, right? It comes, it get rejected, okay, and then it goes up. Right now, if you look at this scenario very well, you realize that here price actually have been reacting to this zone that was initially a support zone. And what happened? The zone got broken and this support zone turned to a resistance zone. Right now, if you look at our chart, for instance, you realize that from here we have another possibility of a resistance, which is a diagonal resistance. Now this is a trend line zone here where price have been reacting to. Okay, price have been reacting to this trend line for a couple of times. Let me say, as it comes, it gets hit, it gets rejected, it comes again, it gets rejected, and all of that. Now if you pull your toe like this, for instance, you're going to realize that as price comes and then break through this zone, you see that sometimes you find it difficult to break through above the zone. Okay, what happens is that as price breaks down, it has created both what a diagonal support or a diagonal resistance and a horizontal. It has created both a horizontal resistance and a diagonal resistance. Now you see that as it broke down from the zone, what happened? There's a possibility that if price goes up to this zone here, it's going to get rejected, because we have two confluences, not just the typical one trend line confirmation, because this zone turns to be what, a resistance zone. All right, now what happened is that I'll wait for price to pull back to this zone here. When it get rejected, now I take myself trade up, my sell setup, because we have price breaks through a zone and it comes back to reject. I know when price breaks through a zone which was a support, it automatically becomes a resistance. And now I have two confluences because it is at the same trend line zone and it's also a resistance. This gives me a high confirmation of entry, and that is exactly what happened here. Now if you look at this zone here, you see that price was actually in a downtrend, and what it created was what, a support zone. Price failed to break this zone once, it failed to break twice, it failed to break thrice. So when it came now, broke with very strong momentum candle. So when it came down now, got rejected here, what happened? It now pulled back to the zone. All right, this zone up here happens to be a horizontal zone. Let me just cancel it and then try to draw it again so that you guys can understand clearly what I'm saying. Right, so if you look at our bear charts now, you see that what, this zone here now automatically become a resistance zone. And now what you do is you just connect. All right, you connect like that, and then you wait for price to come back to this same resistance zone, while you do what, you connect your trend line as well. So with the knowledge of trend line that we have been receiving in this channel, what you simply do is you just look for this obvious wicks up here, you connect, right? You just tap and then you just make sure that you get the touches. Okay, once you get the touches, once you get the first, okay, the second touch, you wait. The third touch now is to execute trades. Now it happens that this third touch actually came at a zone where we have a resistance zone. And what happened here, we just wait for what, a rejection candles. And if you look at it very well, we had what, rejection candles around this zone here. So it's very high probability that price is going to return from there. So what we do now, we simply take our sell trades. That's why you see that we're able to give this signal here, even though I did not put the line, but I knew that this was a strong zone here, that price was going to drop potentially, right? So what we simply do is what we take our sell trade there, and then our stop loss is above there. Sometimes we usually target this low here, but guess what, price drop rapidly and move to about 104 pips. If you look at it very well from this zone here, if you measure, you are going to see that price has dropped just in the space of how many hours. Price has dropped, and that's almost 100 pips, guys, just by understanding this confluence. Remember, we usually take trades based on simple trend line entry, where price rejects once, twice, and thrice. We take our trades, and we have been able to do analysis in this channel, and I brought you guys our trading setups where you can take trades based on what simple trend line. And I told you guys it's very effective, and when price rejects once, twice, you see, you start taking your trades from the third and all of that. But now we had an additional confluence here, because the price actually coincided, it coincided in a zone where we have what we had a resistance zone, because this zone now automatically become resistance. All right, now tips of controlling this kind of trade is that once you take your trade like this, there are times where I will usually use a parallel channel, right? So I can use a parallel channel like this. I just pick the toe and then I connect from here. Okay, I just connect first, second, third, and then I put here. What I do, I drag. Okay, when I drag down like that, I put it at this low here, it's going to automatically plot out the zones for me. Now if I enter here, there are times where I can place my target based on this zone here, right? So it could be like this, it could be my short. I can take a shot here, for instance. Remember, my stop loss should be above the wicks of this candle, above this zone here. All right, that's how you should place your stop loss, and then I'll place my target sometimes like this at the previous low. All right, that can still give more than a 1:2 risk to reward ratio. Remember, we always try to get more than 1:2 risk to reward ratio to get, the additional advantage in the long run. Or I can take my trade and I place at this second zone here, which is determined by this parallel channel too, guys. Okay, and you see that most often you are going to see price move right down to the zone. So what you simply do is you connect your zones. All right, once you connect your zones, you make sure that you connect your trend lines, and once you connect the trend line with this kind of setup, you always make sure that you get these touches. You get these touches here, 1, 2, and 3. Right, so that you should have a high confidence entry and see that price drops. Now let me also share with you what I saw on Euro US dollar, which was, it was something that was almost the same. Okay, we had something almost the same on Euro US dollar. Let me share with you guys. If you go to maybe the 1 hour time frame, you are going to see that we had the same thing here. Now this was a measure zone here, though this time this looked more like a supply zone. All right, it looked more like a supply zone. You can see this is the last bullish candle that was formed before this strong move down, and you see that what happened, price actually, it was like a supply zone here, as you can see. Okay, it looked like a supply zone here, because you saw this is the last bullish candle that formed. So what I simply do now is actually waited for price, because this is how price was, right? So you simply connect your trend line, you pick your trend line here, and then you connect through the highs. Okay, you wait for price to move right down until it hits your zone. Once price comes back and reject in that trend line, that is where you're going to be entry. Right, you are going to be sniping right there, because you have a double confirmation. Okay, you can see there, as soon as price got to this zone here, what it dropped, boom. That is how you can use this strategy, guys. It's very effective, and you know that you have a very good win rate. You see that price will always tend to drop when it gets to this kind of zone, because it's actually reacting to a zone, and it's not just a single zone. We have double confluence of entry, and that's why you see that GPJ is continuing to drop, guys. GPJ keep on dropping because there is a force that is pushing price downwards. So that is basically it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you find the video helpful, give me a thumbs up. Please make sure you drop a comment. Where are you watching from? What interests you? What do you want us to make more videos on? And please, if you have not joined our Telegram channel, okay, you are free to do so. I'm going to drop the link in this video's description below and in the pinned comment, so that you also get trading analysis in the group. All right, so thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel and see you in the next video.